install solar modules, what do you want to be able to do? You want to be able to stand up with that estimate, but again, solar modules might lose about 0.5% a year as far as the power. Okay, so over 20 years, they can lose 10%. So, do you notice the current at short circuit? Are you going to see this IV curve? You just taking a look at the short circuit that we did outside, the open circuit, you can see they come together at each end. It's in the middle, that's the situation. Okay. So, here's the formula. So what is the fill factor of this solar module? So the fill factor is equal to, and you want to write this down, I would say, is that the fill factor is the power at maximum power, as the numerator, over voltage at open circuit times current at short circuit. So can a solar module be open and closed at the same time?
No.
It can't.
No.
But that would be the ideal condition. So not in this universe, but if it was a universe that we could do that in, that would be the ultimate solar module, all right? 100% fill factor. But we can't do that. But you can see the fill factor is 71%. And for monocrystalline, polycrystalline, it's 71 about that. So let's take a look at their solar modules that we were looking at before and see if you can calculate out the fill factor. So how do you calculate out the fill factor for those? What's the fill factor of this solar module? Let's do the one that's 300.
So it'd be 300 on the top number?
Yeah.
Divided by the other two numbers. Open circuit voltage. 44.71 times.
So it was the power at maximum power divided by the
Voltage open circuit. The current at short circuit.
At short circuit is equal to that
Fill up.
Did I get that right?
Yep.
All right. So what do we got? What's the power maximum power?
300
Good.
watts.
What's the VOC?
44.71.
44.71 times
Short circuit current 8.947. 947.
That equals. Wait, where did? Oh.
Short circuit current.
0.7499. So that's the fill factor. It's about 74.99. Can we call it
75.
5? Maybe like last module. We're about a tenth of the voltage. 100.
We can say that more in Canada, but not here.
So that's the fill factor. You should all be able to connect. And so when you do with an IV curve tracer, you take a measurement, you get the fill factor, and then you come back like a year later, and you do another IV curve trace, or 5 years later. You try to go.
Sorry, Professor. Can you go back to that thing on the top? Just a little bit more. Where you had like those different lines and different colors. I guess my point is like, what am I going to do with that fill factor? Not this one, we go the other way. Oh. Yeah, that one. Oh no. It was like two lines, one.
No, we're way back. We're way back in history.
Well, I guess the main question is like, okay, so I got that.
You got it?
Let's say I got that 0.75.
Yes.
And so I draw that IV curve with that number? Is that what you're trying to do with it?
It's going to show how we push the IV curve underneath what an ideal situation is. So how far we can push that IV curve up in the corner.
That one.
Like this one. So how far can we push this up in there as far as the IV curve? So this module
So is the red line like when it's brand new?
could be, yeah.
Okay.
Right? When it's brand new, it could be that way. Then as it begins to age, it could also change the fill factor. The resistance, if the resistance is long, and that'll also impact the fill factor as well.
So I guess my thing is, once I get that 75, then how do I get that blue line using that 0.75 number?
That's what IV curve. That's kind of what IV curve tracers do. Is they're going to get that line.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's why you need special tools in order to do an IV curve.
Okay.
What, I mean, you can measure it, but you can't really change anything. How can you use that to?
Well, one thing you could change is you can change if you have a very long series resistance. The book talks about series and parallel resistance. We're getting into. If you have a very long DC conductor that's like 1,000 volts, then not 1,000 volts, 1,000 feet. Then what will end up happening is that will impact the fill factor. Okay, so it's gonna. The IV curve is going to look something like this. Okay?
Okay.
So if you have a wall. So what this could be telling us, if we take a look at it in IV curve trace, we don't have large enough conductors. We put small, very small conductors in there that have a lot of resistance and we're sufficiently far away from the inverter. That's what this is going to tell us. And so that's bad. So that's why you want to keep your voltage drop down to between like 2% or even less than that, so you don't impact the fill factor of the inverter.
But besides doing that, we have like NEC charts that dictate like how big the wire is and how far the distance is, right? We have like other charts in the NEC that tells us like if I'm going to run this amount of thickness of line for this voltage drop. Yeah.
And you're going to understand on your what do you think?
I was saying it's just calculating voltage drop and sizing the wire.
Yeah, and sizing the wire accordingly, but also, so you want to make sure that you size the conductors the proper size. There is no, except for some special equipment, there's no voltage drop in California that's enforceable.
Oh, I see.
210 is like unenforceable. It's just unenforceable. It's just good practice.
Oh, so I have.
Because we want to be good electricians out there, right?
So you're saying I have tables to calculate the correct what to do, but in reality, if I follow it or not, there's nobody actually forcing me to follow it.
And yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
So,
But then I'll catch on this curve if I don't follow those rules.
It could be a manufacturer's instructions issue. You know, so there's a lot to that discussion.
Huh.
Because there could be, you really shouldn't run really long conductors that impact